know. I felt like there was also just a lot of wasted time in the second season. Like the whole Dangerous Liaison subplot, I didn't need at all with Sean Hayes coming in and being like this over the top Jim Carrey type actor. Like, I don't know. Maybe if they thought they were gonna have a third season, they were like, we're gonna save some of our stuff, we're gonna drag it out. But like, I just feel like in today's television world, you can never do that. You can never assume anything. You need to do it all now, and then come up with new ideas for later when they do give you that.
And it's a fascinating thing because it's like,
because what did we learn from that? Nothing. We didn't even get music that anybody wants to download and listen to over and over. Those two songs, Letter to Cecile and whatever, as great as I think Megan Hilty is as a singer, I don't want to listen to that song ever again. It's just
I literally cannot tell you what they were.
Right.
But no, it's one of those things where it's like, Jennifer Hudson was in the early part of the season. She's in the She's in the key art.
And whatever happened to that storyline?
Apparently they wanted her back, and then
no, I don't even mean bringing her back. I mean when it was on air.
Yeah.
All the things that Josh was saying it was in interviews didn't come through on screen.
Right.
Again, like hit list, and that's a huge problem if you can't execute your ideas.
Right.
There was supposed to be this whole parallel to her life with her overbearing mother, dominating mother, and the character she was playing in that show. That's why they rewrote that song,
Right.
Mama Makes Three. It was originally a different number, and they rewrote it because they wanted the parallel to the
Right.
character. Nothing came across the way they wanted it to come across.
I mean, I would have been fascinated to have her back like they had originally planned, because she was supposed to originally do that, be part of Derek's downfall, and that would have been a fascinating thing to actually witness. And I'm kind of sad it didn't happen that way, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah.
But would it have saved the show? No. Honestly, if that had worked out, I probably would have looked at it and been like, last ditch attempts to get me excited about the show, because I was so bitter at that point. Like, Smash was like, I loved it last year. I unashamedly loved it, even with its flaws. I didn't hate watch it. I legitimately, season 1, enjoyed it. Could pick out its flaws, but my enjoyment level was above what I thought was wrong with it. And then they just completely changed my mind for season 2, and I was so sad, because that's the kind of show that I want. I'm glad they took some of the risks they took, but I wanted it to do so well, because I wanted to say, like, look, we can do these kinds of shows. They can work. Like, we can think outside of our normal network bubble.
See, and it's interesting. It's like, I never hate, I did talk with Josh Safran about hate watching, and, it's one of those things where I never actually hate watched season 1. I was unhappy with a lot of season 1, but it was never with the intention of hate watching. And he mentioned that our friend Damien Holbrook from TV Guide actually had coined the term hope watch, which is what I had tried to do, because I watched it with the hope that it would be the show that I wanted it to be.
Right, absolutely. But you can only do that for so long before you have to face facts and be like, okay,
right. And I felt like
I'm not getting that.
I feel like I basically hope watched in season 1, and I think the season 1 finale was just a freaking mess.
See, I actually really liked a lot of it. Like, there was a lot of it that was a mess, but then there was a lot of it that I saw potential for where it could go to be better. And to be fair, I do think that they addressed a lot of what was wrong with it, and just didn't they just didn't do those things in season 2. I think some of the things that they did instead were worse, but that's a gamble. That's a risk anybody's going to take when they're going to introduce something that's come out of nowhere. And I will say that I really liked that they brought back Will Chase for that clip at the end. I just need to get that out.
I almost emailed you to be like, Michael Swift's in this, what the
I
heck?
knew that, but at the same time, and I didn't know how much he was going to be in it, but and to argue the fact of whether or not there's some great love story or not, I don't want to get into. I don't care. I just like the fact that he was so important in season 1. You can blame Michael Swift on a lot of Julia's problems or Bombshell problems or whatever. Like, he was so important that I needed closure. I didn't feel like I had. And I was happy that it was closure that I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, so that seemed here actually.
So that's the one thing I think that they did really right. They should have ended there.
I almost tweeted out actually that I was like, if I had to deal with the ridiculousness of Frank, I'm glad at least without Michael Swift.
Because I hated Frank.
Yeah, it was so really, but at least we didn't have Leo. At least we only had half a second of Ella's.
We had Leo in the beginning.
I know, but we only had half a second of Ella's.
And that whole Ellis thing too. I was like, why are you guys? We hate him. Why are you doing this?
That was trolling us.
But I also feel like it's them messing with us and being like, we're just gonna throw everything at you and we don't really care. And I'm just like, well, then why should I care? I don't know. I wanted it to be something that it really, really, really wasn't.